Welcome back, SethBling here. Today Mojang released a new snapshot for Minecraft. This is Snapshot 14w25a, and one of the big things about this snapshot is the underwater temples, and you can kind of see it here. Now I'm going to go ahead and give myself night vision so that we can see. So effect SethBling 16, make it last a while and hide the particles. Okay, so night vision, let's take a look. So here is the underwater temple, and the underwater temple spawns with a bunch of these guardian guys. These guys are called guardians. What you just saw right there was an effect that the temple has on you. Actually, I think it's the effect of the elders. I'm not exactly sure. It gives me mining fatigue, so that makes your arms swing slowly, and it also makes it so that you take a lot longer to mine through blocks. The temple is randomly generated, so it's configured in a kind of a random orientation. I'm going to try and fly through it and stuff. Now, in the middle of the temple, there's this little, I don't know, beacon. I guess a beacon has a special meaning in Minecraft, but it's like in the center of the temple, basically, there's 8 gold blocks. That's like the treasure of the temple. But, you know, the blocks that the temple is made out of is also cool. It's Prismarine is the new block name. And there's also, what is this one called? Sea Lantern, and that one actually emits light, as we saw before. So these guardians, they are dangerous. They move around pretty fast. If I go ahead and put myself in survival, we'll see kind of what they do. See, he's locking onto me with a beam, and then it's going to damage me. Yeah, so let's go back into creative mode. Yeah, so they fly around really fast. They'll shoot any squids that they see, so you get a lot of ink kind of dropped on the ground anywhere that you're near guardians. Bam. Now you can avoid the beam by getting out of line of sight of the guardians, or by moving away from them. Let's see, is there anything else in here? Well, this one didn't spawn with any sponge in it, but there are some of these dungeons will actually spawn with sponge. There's also a second type of guardian. So these are normal guardians. They're hostile mobs, and they'll spawn on their own and despawn on their own. There's also elder guardians here, and these guys don't despawn. And I think they only spawn once. I don't think that they spawn again later on their own. But they have a lot more health, and they deal more damage. Let me go ahead and kill one here, if I can. And they drop wet sponge, and also some of these shards, prismarine shards, and I thought they also dropped prismarine crystals, but I guess it's kind of random. Anyway, so let's go into my regular test world and we'll have a look. In my regular test world, I have the entire dungeon, same dungeon. I just pulled it above ground so we can have a look without having to worry about all the water. So let's dig in. You can see it's kind of big. It's randomly configured, and there's rooms. I think there. Let's see if I just dig through. Yeah, I bet we can find more. There's more crawl space over here. Yeah, effect SethBling 1636. Okay. Yes, there's kind of like a bit of crawl space, I guess, around the edge, but on the inside, it's all the rooms. So I got that mining fatigue effect again there. It kind of makes this startling sound and stuff. Yeah, so sometimes these things do spawn with rooms full of sponge, and that's pretty cool. So over here, I have pulled aside some of those mobs so we can see them above ground. They seem perfectly happy to flap around above ground. I'll remind you, these are called guardians, and that's the elder guardian. So they don't take damage when they're flapping around above ground. Let's see, let me grab some flint and steel. I've been told that they don't take damage from fire, so, or lava or anything, so yeah, that's these guys. I think the elder is what's causing the mining fatigue effect, and I'm getting it here, so I'm going to go ahead and clear my effects. Let's see, what else is in the snapshot? So when you get the wet sponge by killing the elder, or by picking up the wet sponge from the fortress, you can put it in a furnace to dry it. This is gonna be fun. You can put it into a furnace to dry it, and you can use it to basically clear out water from large spaces. So, and then it becomes a wet sponge. So this one's wet. You can see it's kind of sweating water, although, yeah. So, so that's a wet sponge, and then you put it in a furnace to dry it again. Let's see if I have. Here's a dry sponge. If I grab some water in my inventory and put it down, it's immediately going to break it, and that'll make this into a wet sponge, and then it won't break the water again. So you have to dry it off in order for it to break or to dry out the water again. So that's the sponge. What else do we got? So we got some stuff over here. Some new command block stuff. So you can now modify, or sorry, the text that's in books, written books. If you use a custom command like this, you can use JSON, the j.json text formatting, the same stuff that you use with /title and whatever. So here we go. Spawn a book. I actually have one already in my inventory. This is a test book that Sarge gave me the command for this. So if I read the book, you can see there's colored text, and if I hover over the word awesome, you can see you can even click to run a command, and so I can run /say hello and whatever. So this is really powerful. You could have like spell books and all kinds of menus and all that stuff, and that's very cool. Definitely looking forward to playing around with that and seeing some cool concepts with that. There's you can also use the .json text formatting in signs if you use /setblock. And here's another command that Sarge gave me, although I modified it a little bit. But basically what it's doing is in the second line it's displaying a selector, which is @e, c = 1, type equals not player. So this is basically finding the name of the nearest entity and putting it in the sign. You can see it's colored text. So that was previously inaccessible in vanilla Minecraft. So if I press the button, Guardian is the nearest entity, so that's one of these guys. If I just go ahead and drop an item on the ground, now it's item.tile.sandstone. Here's a sponge. Item.tilesponge.dry, I guess, but there's a line limit. The line limit is now dependent on the actual character width. So you can fit a lot of I's in a line, not as many M's. So you can actually use up the full width of the sign, even if the characters are pretty small. So that's pretty cool. Let's take a look at some of the new items and blocks. So let me get these in my inventory. So the Guardians, the normal Guardians, will drop Prismarine shards, and the Elder Guardians will drop the crystals as well. And so we can craft some of the new blocks. Actually, I think they're all craftable. So let's see. If we do 4, we get Prismarine. If we do 9, we get the Prismarine bricks. And if you put 1 in the middle and shards all around it, you get the Dark Prismarine. And then Prismarine crystals, kind of make a cross out of them, and then shards in the corners. And that's how you get the sea lantern. So if you break a sea lantern, you'll get something like 3 of the crystals. Although if you use Fortune Pick, then you'll get all 5 that you need in order to make a new one. So the crystals don't seem super renewable, but the shards definitely are. And so yeah, you can craft the new blocks. There's also a new, let's see, if I grab a furnace, and I want a stone brick. So you can actually get cracked stone brick now. So let's grab that. Furnace, coal, stone brick. It's gonna, wait, I'm wrong. Well, I'll have to look this up. I actually didn't test this out beforehand, as you can see. Oh, I'm using the wrong kind of brick. I'm using the silverfish kind of brick. Yeah, I don't know. I hate how that shows up first in the menu. So this is the stone brick I actually want. There we go. Coal. Yeah, so it's going to smelt it. Also, there's a new kind of dirt. So there's coarse dirt. You can see the texture is ever so slightly different. If I grab a couple of dirt and a couple of gravel, if you mix gravel and dirt, it gives you coarse dirt. Let's see. Let me grab some of this. So we get coarse dirt out of that. Actually, that's kind of a cool way of, if you want the brown texture, you can kind of convert gravel into dirt that way. Let's see if it's a shapeless crafting recipe. I'm not actually sure. It's not. So you have to have it kind of crisscrossed. How do I do this? There we go. Crisscrossed in order to get the coarse dirt. And coarse dirt, basically the only difference between regular dirt and coarse dirt is that coarse dirt can't have things grow in it. I think, well, it definitely can't have grass grow in it. Let me see if you can put sapling on it. Just kind of curious now. Okay, so you can have sapling. I don't even know if it'll grow. Anyway, you can play around with that on your own. So here's our furnace. We got the cracked stone bricks. These were previously uncraftable in vanilla. You had to get them from Stronghold, and that was the only way to get them. Let's see what else is new. If you press tab, you'll now see the faces of all the players in your tab menu. So that's a nice and easy way to get used to people's skins and quickly find the person that you want in the tab menu. Pretty cool. There's some new scoreboard operations. Scoreboard players operation. So this is the operation command is not new. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Operation. So I can there's so plus equals, minus equals, etc. Those are all existing, but there's equals, which is assignment, less than, and greater than. Those are new operations on the scoreboard, so you can directly compare two scoreboard objectives and see which one's greater, lesser, and makes it a little bit easier to deal with math in the scoreboard. And I think that's it. Oh, no, there's one more thing, actually. There's a new enchantment. There's a new enchantment. Let me go back into that underwater world again. We'll grab an anvil and boots. And so the new enchantment is called Depth Strider. So you can get up to level 3 Depth Strider. I'm going to go ahead and make it myself. In creative mode, you can apply this enchantment to any type of armor, but in survival, I think you can only apply it to boots. And so we get Depth Strider. So let's see. I'm walking around here on this temple, and I'm pretty slow. If I put on the boots, there we go. You can see I'm pretty much walking around at full speed. I can sprint. Now swimming up and down still is pretty slow, but the actual act of moving sideways is very fast. And even when you're swimming, you still move very fast. So that's definitely one thing that can help you take on one of these temples, which are quite dangerous due to all the guardians, is being able to move around quickly and try and avoid their death stare. So otherwise, I think I've covered most of the content that's new in the snapshot. Obviously, it'll be fun to play around with the temples, figure out the right way to attack them. It's obviously a little bit difficult with the mining fatigue effect that you get here when you're near them, but it'll be fun to play around with them and some of the other new stuff. Anyway, if you want a full changelog of everything that's happened and some discussion, I put the Reddit thread in the video description, and otherwise, that's about it. Thanks for watching.